The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is said to have chaired a meeting at which the approval was given to downgrade a bank guarantee to an insurance guarantee, which many civil society organizations say was the root cause of the PDS problem. Well, the Africa Center for Energy Policy says that which has been contained in the FTI report, which is commissioned by the MIDA, is just an attempt to shift blame onto others when they believe MIDA itself should take the blame for failing to do proper due diligence that would have averted the controversy. Listen to the executive director of the Africa Center for Energy Policy, Benjamin Boakye.
From people who drafted the agreement, MIDA and IFC, they drafted the agreement. They know every detail in that. To caution government at least to say that you cannot change the financial guarantees that were required to an insurance guarantee and then leave government to take the decision. There should be documentation to that effect. Other than that, they cannot sit aloof and say, oh, we didn't do anything, and that government took the decision. And if you trace all the issues in that report, our conclusion is that there was a very crafty attempt to exonerate the transaction advisors and start pointing fingers at some people. So if you see in that report, they make reference to a meeting that was held in the vice president's office, where you had MIDA board, ECG board, deputy ministers,
the finance minister,
all those people there, and a decision was taken.
The chief of staff, the two deputy energy ministers,
exactly. And they say that a decision was taken at that meeting. Okay, so then FTI comes back to say that after that decision was taken to approve the downgrade, an email was sent to the effect that it was the vice president that directed the downgrade, and we thought that was a bit mischievous. Why they wouldn't really say that the meeting arrived at that conclusion, but they were emphasizing that the vice president did that.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was the position of MIDA on that downgrade?
But it's interesting. Before that meeting, MIDA themselves had at the board meeting also taken a similar decision. They took a similar decision. So they seem also to suggest the ultimate decision wasn't ours.
Nobody is saying that the advisors have ultimate decision. Nobody is saying that. What we are trying to say is that we want to see what advice they gave to government relative to that. Why were at the MIDA board meeting? Why is MIDA not producing minutes on that report? And check it from here. Go to MIDA's website. You will see that they published every MIDA board meeting until they got to that crunch period. They were not publishing board minutes anymore. So we see clearly that there is that crafty way to shield those who were pushing, because you ask everybody in ECG, ask people in PURC, ask people in Energy Commission, and everybody tells you that MIDA was just giving us too much pressure to let this go. Okay? But they don't have traces of any of those. So where was that pressure coming from? And why is that coinciding with a paper and electronic trail on this transaction? And then they send an email and point fingers at people, and they themselves, we don't see what role they were actually playing in that process. Yeah. If it was just a mere coordinating role, we could have hired national service people to do that.
And that is Benjamin Boakye with the Africa Center for Energy Policy, Executive Director there, speaking on PM Express last night. Also on the show last night was the ranking member, the minority spokesperson on mines and energy, Adam Mutawakilu. John, is obviously learning tonight that there are already conversations in government about what to do with the PDS deal, and there is a very high likelihood from what we're hearing that the contract itself will be cancelled. But what do you do with it once it has been cancelled? Conversations already begun into who will take over and replace, because the concession arrangement should be maintained because of the compact that we've signed with the U.S. government. Well, the minority position is that whatever decision government takes, the process should be transparent towards the selection of a replacement for PDS. Listen to Adam Mutawakilu.
The information that we pick indicates that this is what they want to do. And we have an issue with that.
What's the issue there?
First of all, let me go back to America. Government says, they want to come up with innovation. And that means that now you select one company and then you deal with it. It came and it was a heavy scandal that resulted in the dismissal of a minister. Now, if government now says, we are going to EDF, that means they have decided who they should go to. We believe that it should be open.
Another tender should be open for this.
It should be enough for 2-3 to show interest. The moment they go
but
to
I thought EDF was part of the original.
It was
tender.
part of it.
Yes,
it was part.
So
it doesn't mean that government just decide, we are dealing with EDF. It gives them the room to go and do whatever they want.
All this you're saying is speculation because the government hasn't confirmed.
That is why we say the
proven
information we are taking.
Yeah.
We are just giving a hint
to stop them.
That if they have that and they are doing that, they must know that we are watching and we will resist it.
Adam Mutawakilu is the minority spokesperson on mines and energy. This is Top Story, always brought to you by Bond Savings and Loans. Your success, our passion, Gasem Cement the Nation Builder, and Vodafone. The future is exciting, ready. Newsnight starts right now.
And headlines on Newsnight is brought to you by Eden Heights. Eden Heights, welcome home. In the next 60 minutes, police gives Jamestown Assemblyman up to close of day today to turn himself in or face arrest after he assaulted Joy News photojournalist and incited residents against Joy Clean Ghana campaign team.
If by the close of the day he does not show up, criminal summons will certainly be served on him by tomorrow.
We'll tell you all about how Joseph Addo disrupted the sanitation campaign at the same place President Akufo-Addo pledged to make Accra the cleanest city in Africa. You will soon see projects in your constituency. Ministry of Special Development Initiative assures residents of Ododo-Diodio demanding their share of the NPP government's one constituency $1 million promise.
These are hard times. We have realized the promises are all lies. Where is the $1 million promised every constituency?
$1 million. That's coming up in our citizen-driven Joy News Dear Nanado series. Also, Civil and Local Government Staff Association CLOCSA gives government and SNIT a 2-week ultimatum to rectify second-tier pension contribution anomalies or face thereof.
CLOCSA is serving notice that if within 2 weeks the issues raised are not adequately resolved, it will be compelled to embark on a nationwide strike back in March.
And in business, Vodafone Ghana formally begins charging customers the communication service tax.
Later in sports, former Ghana international Yusuf Alhassan Chipsa is confident the Black Meteors will qualify for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics.
And it's a Wednesday, so we have fact-checking. And tonight we are fact-checking claims by the General Secretary of the Position NDC at a press conference they held yesterday. We have all the details here on Newsnight. Remember, the Newsnight is brought to you by Puma Card from Puma Energy, cash-free convenience. Do join us with your thoughts and comments via WhatsApp on 0244 340 437. I am MF Apau.
My name is Evans Mensah. Well, what you hear there was sounds from chaotic scenes on day 2 of the Joy Clean Ghana campaign after Assemblyman for the area Joseph Ado, popularly known as Zola, slapped Joy News journalist David Andor, smashing his camera in the process. Now, Joseph Ado disrupted the Joy Clean campaign, inciting a mob in the area against the police, the AMA public health officials, and journalists. Now, his actions eventually brought the process of ensuring cleaners in the area to an abrupt end. Now, he even threatened police officers who were later called in to deal with the situation. Guess what? This happened at the same place President Akufo-Addo promised to make Ghana the cleanest city in Africa. Now, Nancy Emefa-Jodosi was there with the team and is in the studio with me. Nancy, it wasn't all chaotic, right? Tell us how the process was prior to this.
Well, so Evans, when we entered the town, that's Jamestown, it was very smooth. In fact, they had served notices to one food vendor who was selling very close to a gutter and a house that had about 25 people sharing one toilet facility.
25 people sharing one toilet facility.
Yeah. Just one toilet
like
seat, actually.
Oh, that sounds like a place I used to live in at the
And then a story building that was hanging upstairs. I don't know how to do it, but they had tenants in there living in those houses. All these people were served notices and they were complying. In fact, as the AMA team walked through the Jamestown, people came out with their shovels, clearing the gutters, just to say that, okay, yeah, we know that this is wrong and so we are clearing it. So basically, it was a very peaceful exercise later in the morning.
Toilet no cry, who space no more. Kitua na mu ye nipa boye 20 something. Na we see mu use toilet. E kire say ebi amukọ toilet no wo bathroom na mu chichire to baby meboa. Eba esa ayesa.
Mpese mi nko toilet mbe ko outside ho. Say toilet wo but me chichi toilet wo fi
bathroom. Serve them the letter.
I'll give it to Evira.
The room I live in. The people here, they say it's a family house. So we pay.
You pay rent?
I pay rent.
So you are a tenant?
Yes.
You can cave in. Whoever is here can cave in and a pending disaster here. Somebody lives here. All this is a corridor to people's room. So when we serve them the notice, we follow up to sit with them to find out what time is feasible for them to do what we want them to do. Because if we say immediate, maybe they will not be able to raise the money to do what we want them to do. So we'll follow up upon serving the notice to see how best they can put efforts together to reconstruct. But we'll make the first attempt to make sure that nobody lives here anymore. Because we'll serve them notice to get the people living here out.
Okay, so were they served the notices?
Yes, they were served notices for a lot of things.
Okay,
so
and I heard at the beginning, if you live in a Ghana community, you understand this. It's pretty common. She's saying that the woman who's been interrogated there was saying that, the officer was saying, you guys defecate in black polythene bags and throw it away, right?
Yes.
And then she says, no, we don't do that.
Yeah.
But is this that there was evidence to show that they seem to do that in the house?
Well, you would notice that even close to the toilet, they had about chamber pots lined up. So the inspector asked them, if you say you don't tie rubbers and throw them out, what are these chamber pots meant for? Because you are 25, more than 25 people. If 4 people want to use at the same time, what happens?
Yeah, so
then she was fumbling. She didn't know how to answer.
So at what point they were served? At what point did this smooth process then turn all chaotic?
All right. So we entered a certain house. They sell, your favorite gobe with plantain. And guess what, Evans? Just where the woman is selling the plantain and the gobe is her washroom, her bathroom.
The same place?
The same place. In fact, just right in front of the in the bathroom. That's where she's selling. And then close to the toilet is where she stores her unripe plantain. In fact, they are just lying on the floor close to the toilet where they defecate. That is where these things are being stored. And so the official asked her for her health certificate, her health card, because every vendor is supposed to have. She brought it out, but it had expired. That's one. 2, that she was selling at a very unhygienic condition with flies hovering all over the food and all of that. So she was served with notices. And she was actually complying. She was begging, but the inspector said, no, we can't let you fry these plantains for people to eat. So he commanded his officials to come for the plantain. On their way, the assemblyman walks in and then demands that everybody goes back and drops the plantain. But the officials did not listen to him. They wanted to walk away. He actually forcefully took the plantain from some of the sanitation officers, you know, and he actually brought boys. So during that confrontation, they moved to the streets. And that is where David Andor, our photojournalist, decided to take shots of the process. And then he walked. So we have pictures of the assemblyman walking towards David Andor just seconds before the slap actually landed on his face.
And the camera fell.
Yeah. In fact, I understand when he was slapped, the other boys came taking the camera from him. But he didn't give it up until somebody slapped him again from the back. That's where he fell down with the camera. So you will see that the camera has been cracked and all of that.
The whole process has come to an end because we have been distracted, and we thought the assembly member in the area could have even given us his support. But he came to support his people, telling us that it's election time and very soon they'll be doing elections, so we do not have the right to come to tell people to clean their environment. This is where politics have taken us to. Does it mean that if they are going to have elections, you shouldn't clean your environment? If somebody doesn't clean the environment, the person falls sick and die, would a dead person come and vote for you? I'm really disappointed. So due to that, we are stopping the exercise, we are leaving, and then we'll look for another place and come next week. But as for today, we cannot work here again because his people are now furious. He should have even been at our back to tell the people to go back. But he has made the people to come forward to attack us. And we cannot be in a place. Our life is at risk if we are still here. Police are here. They have seen what has gone on. So we do not even have to go and report anybody to the police because we all saw it. The cameraman was slapped by the assembly member of the area.
So who's that speaking?
So that's actually the Director for Public Health from the AMA.
Okay, so was there reinforcement at all?
Yes, in fact, when the thing started, we understand that the PRO called the AMA, but the mayor, Nia Jesowa, and he instructed that there should be reinforcement because we had just 2 police officers with us. And so moments after the Public Health Director spoke, we saw other policemen, about 4 or 5 of them, they came back to the place, and then the policeman asked that we go back to the scene where it all started. So we went back to the house. The police officer said, "Okay, yeah, we are taking your things away." Just when he started speaking, the police officer started speaking. The assemblyman again now walks through the crowd, comes to the center of the entire meeting and all of that, and says, "Okay, all of you leave." And
including the police officer.
All of us. He said nobody should be here.
I don't like that. I'm studying the mayor over here. If you are coming here, they should inform me. They should go. Everybody should be there. They should go. Everybody should go. What we want to explain. Mayor, this moment, stop taking the pictures. If you don't take out,
I'm not taking pictures. Thankfully, the mayor just joined us on the telephone line right now. Thank you, sir, Mr. Mayor, for your time here on News 9.
Thank you very much for inviting me to speak on this matter.
You must have been shocked by what happened today.
Certainly. This is a program that we had explained to everybody, including the assembly members, and we have the support of the staff to go ahead and to do some of these things. Last week, we were at Aveno. The assembly member for Aveno is a presiding member for the assembly, and he gave his full support to the exercise. Today, we were at Jamestown, and incidentally, where the incident happened, just a couple of meters away from the location, is where His Excellency the President stood and made the famous Jamestown Declaration that he wants Accra to become the cleanest city. So, in our view, in our quest to make Accra the cleanest city, the people of Jamestown should be the first to take this exercise very serious. And I was very surprised that the assembly member acted in that manner. Because when I had the call, because we're continuing my first day at school visitation. Yesterday we went to a couple of the schools today. So we're on the 4th. And I had a call from our PR that assembly member for the area had launched an attack on them. And I said, how? But you had some Metro guards also with you and some policemen. I said, the policemen. So I quickly spoke to the Jamestown police commander that he should detail his men, because it's also about 100 meters away from the Jamestown police station. And then I was called later that the program has come to abrupt end because of the confusion which was going on over there. So I drove straight to the location and met your reporters. Apparently, they've gone to the police station already to make a report. So I spoke to the crime officer that, well, you can't attack a journalist. This is a country that we pride ourselves with press freedom, and that cannot happen. So if Joy FM is taking up this matter, I mean, there's little that I can do about it. I am aware that the Jamestown commander has gone to court and got a court summons, and it's been served on assembly member for to come to court on Monday.
So this has been dealt with according to law.
Sure.
And this is the excuse he gave for his actions. Pretty shocking that there's an election coming. We all know in December the district level elections will happen, and he would be contesting. I'm assuming this gentleman is a member of your assembly, correct?
Yes.
Is there any disciplinary procedure for such a person, seeing that the assembly that he superintends has bylaws that makes him, the individual that must be upholding these bylaws, but he seems to be the person who is actually breaking these laws?
Certainly, but I think that since the police have taken the matter to court and a proceedings is going to initiated on Monday, we'll follow suit on that. Because if it's an argument that you're going to an election, and for that matter, people should remain untouchable, I don't know the reasons why the general public cast their vote for us. If they're going to cast their vote for us because we're going to allow lawlessness to prevail, then I'm sorry. But I do not think so. I think that the people of this country want this country to progress, and they will vote for people who are willing to make sure that we strictly adhere to the rules of law. And I think that this matter has to be pressed further.
Do we know if he's already been served? I know the court summons have been secured. Whether he's actually been found and served, do we know that now?
I don't know. I just left a meeting, a budget meeting, so I don't know. But I'm aware that the Jamestown commander had secured a court order from to serve him this evening.
And I know because of this incident, your team and ours failed to execute the duty, the mandate for which reason they were there. They had to abandon it. Are they going to return? Do you know, is that decision been taken yet to this particular area? Because of the filth they saw, they were about to deal with it when they had to abandon it. Is that going to be returned?
In fact, I mean, this is an affront on the power of the state, and no single individual can thwart the effort of the state. Certainly, we will continue with the exercise. We applaud what we are doing with the multimedia, and the exercise is going to continue. But this just tells us about the kind of indiscipline also which is in town, and we may have to take adequate steps so that we protect each and every one that will be on the field.
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for your time, and thanks for the good work. We'll continue this with your team in the coming days. That is Nia J. Soa. He is the Accra mayor, and Nancy is still with me in the studio. Nancy, the police confirms to us that they are taking steps, and just as we've just heard there from the mayor, make the point that they've secured the court summons. They're looking for him to serve him. In fact, you've been speaking to the police command in Jamestown. This is what they've been saying to us.
It's an unfortunate incident. What we intend doing is to finish investigation as quickly as possible, and if you're able to establish that indeed he has committed the allegation against him, we will not hesitate to prosecute him at the appropriate forum, and that will be the. You see, when an offense is committed, especially an offense such as assaults and other related offenses, we can invite the person to come and assist police investigation. We can arrest also, But we can also invite the person to come and then assist investigation. Now, if the person decides not to honor the police investigation, then we have no other option than to go to court and then have criminal summons served on him to appear before court. Looking at the nature of the case, we have given him, in fact, I have instructed that he should report. My crime officer has called him. He promised coming. He has still not showed up. Now, if by the close of the day he does not show up, criminal summons will certainly be served on him by tomorrow to appear in court.
David Andor himself is here with me, MFA as well, just to get a sense of MFA shortly where next in this particular campaign. But David, are you okay?
By the grace of God.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've heard a bit of what happened. You were there. You felt it. Clearly, this must have been a very chaotic scene for you.
Yes.
What do you recall of it?
You see, when the team asked the task force to take the plantains away, I sensed there could be
trouble.
So I followed them, and also to capture how they were going to put them in the vehicle and send it. So when I got to the streets, I saw a lot of people saying, "Don't take them, don't take them." Then they were struggling with, they were trying to heckle the people who were cutting the plantain. Then I started doing my work, taking pictures, and the moment they saw me taking the pictures, they shouted, "Don't take the picture, don't take." Then the assemblyman moved swiftly towards me, and then he called his people, and then you could see about 20 men coming to my direction, and then other people also coming. So they came and held the camera. They were actually taking the camera away from me. I say, "Hey, I'm not giving you the camera." Then it became hot. Then I somebody slapped me from behind. Then when they saw they couldn't take the camera away, they just pushed me to the ground because they were very agitated. They were angry. Yeah. So when I wake up from the ground, I was actually mobbed. They mobbed me, and I didn't see any of my team members. The police were before that were inside, so I came out without any police protection or something. So when the police came, everything had ended.
Okay. David, thank you very much. And this is not going to deter you, obviously, because you're going to be with the team still going forward.
Never.
Absolutely.
Never.
Nancy, where next?
So we don't tell you where we are going. We just come and surprise you. So if you are keeping your environment filthy, you better
all you
your
can
mind.
bet on is that next week there'll be somewhere else.
We will be.
With the cameras and the police and the officers to make the arrest. David, Nancy, thank you very much. Let's speak to Vice Chairman of the Coalition of NGOs in Water and Sanitation, Koniwa Atta Ahing. Mr. Ahing, thank you for your time here on Newsnight. I mean, this story illustrates a problem with sanitation, something that your organization has been dealing with for years without much success. I guess we see the reason why we are failing. The leaders themselves seem to be in on it.
Thank you very much, Evans. And good evening to your listeners. I think that you are spot on. While listening to the conversation, I am really, really scandalized. I can't believe that people will really go to the extent of frustrating an effort that is in itself aimed at improving the sanitation situation in this country. It's mind-boggling. And that is the extent people can go to prioritize their political fortunes over the bigger socio-economic well-being of the people. But let me tell you that those of us in the sector and Ghanaians in general have been following your exploits, and we are solidly behind you. We believe that these are the fundamental things we should be doing as a country to be able to get our cities and our towns, to get them rid of the insanitary conditions that we find ourselves in. And so kudos. I think that this will not dampen your spirit. We are behind you, and the fight has to be won.
Koniwa has been in the trenches long before we joined. Give me a sense of, across the country, is this an isolated case? I'm not talking about the assault, but the lack of political will, even at the local assembly level. Is this isolated or something that you see across the country when you go to the assemblies across the country?
Where I was getting to, and I will call you a prophet. In fact, this is not an isolated case at all. It is widespread across the towns, the cities, the villages, all the district assemblies you go to, you find this situation. Whilst you are even busily trying to improve the situation, you find these kinds of frustrations. And it is very, very unfortunate. And it tells us that some of the leaders we have put in charge of the sanitation situation, in fact, to develop totally their jurisdictions, are jettisoning their responsibilities. Look, to be able to improve effectively on sanitation, first of all, you need to do a lot of public education and sensitization. You need to do law enforcement of laws and bylaws, because it's an attitudinal issue. Then you need to have increased prioritization and increased financing, and then you can have infrastructural development. But the first one, the third one, and the fourth one cannot produce the dividends we require if enforcement of bylaws fails. And that is why we think that what you are doing is very, very important. And we need all the stakeholders, the district assemblies, the officials, to be supporting such an effort and not to be frustrating it. But you are right, it is widespread across the country. People are not just interested in improving the sanitation situation in this country. Look, let me tell you, you go to district assemblies and you will be happy to find that the assembly has even dedicated 0.2% of its resources towards improving sanitation in their jurisdiction, when they have resources to spend on so many other things. I think that as a country, we need to wake up.
I'm grateful that you joined us. That is the Vice Chair of the Coalition of NGOs in Water and Sanitation. That's not all. The Sector Minister has also been out and about today with our team, MFR.
At Ayawaso North Municipal Assembly. So whilst the Joy Clean Ghana campaign team were in Jamestown amidst the chaos, she was also touring some parts of the country. And like I said, Ayawaso North Municipal Assembly. And she says that she does not think that Ghanaians should wait and only participate in monthly cleanup exercises. It should be a daily affair. Maxwell Agbagba was with the team, and here's his report.
This once a month cleaning, for some people, fine. But I don't think we should wait for a month. The cleaning should be every day. When you see dirt, make sure you clean it. When you churn out garbage, make sure you dispose of it effectively.
In some homes where drainage systems had been covered with planks, they were removed and the drains inspected. The Sanitation and Water Resources Minister went through the alleyways of Mamobi, visiting homes and inspecting sanitary conditions there. She also visited the Ayawaso Council of Zongo Chiefs. She appealed to the chiefs and other opinion leaders to support government's agenda of making Ghana clean.
People pipe their sewage into drains. We want them to stop, and we need leaders like you, forward-looking leaders like you, who live by example. At least help us talk to the community.
The minister rebuked some residents of Mamobi for not keeping the environment clean.
Joy is doing an exercise they need to be commended. They are doing on the spot. So when they catch you, you'll be embarrassed. You should encourage the households to be cleaning. We have written to you that you have the strength from the ministry that every household should be in charge of the land around the household, in front of the household, and each home should get a bin. Zoom Lion is championing this one house, one bin, and we support it. Yes. The MCs support what? One bin, one house, or one house, one bin means. And one business, one bin. Yes.
Chairman of the Ayawaso Council of Zongo Chiefs, Moro Issa, wants the minister's support to desilt the main Nima drain. He says the drainage system is too big and beyond the management of the Ayawaso North Municipal Assembly.
It's because the drain is so big also. The management of it is not a small thing. So, Madam, I would like to appeal to you. Whatever help you can give, at least to be able to manage, sanitation-wise, to be able to manage that drain is very important. It's something I see is beyond the municipal assembly.
The Sanitation and Water Resources Minister Cecilia Dapa promised that her ministry will continue to do more to ensure a clean Ghana.
One house, one bin is being promoted by the service providers led by Zoom Lion, and the ministry supports it 200%. I have added one business, one bin, because people spend, at times they go to their businesses at 6 a.m. and leave at 7 p.m.
And that is the sanitation minister there, Cecilia Dapa, going around today with our team. And don't forget, the hashtag is Joy Clean Ghana. Join that conversation already. Many of you are already chatting with us using that hashtag. Abraham Akwako on Twitter says, Assembly. So the assemblyman for Jamestown really obstructed the Joy Clean Ghana campaign. Did he really say election is nearby, so don't come and spoil my reputation? Hey! So we queue up to elect such ignorant, and I'm short of words in Poe. Hey, Ghana.
And Paul Kutria also on Twitter said, natural beauty is a legacy and a right for future generations, and conserving it as well as our natural resources for their benefit is our responsibility today, he adds.
Agama Lizard says, seriously, the air we breathe stinks like rotting egg around Sokoban in Ashanti, raging hashtag Joy Clean Ghana.
Amuje Biampo, also using the hashtag Joy Clean Ghana, says, your reward is in heaven, whether good or bad. Letting government off the hook is always bad.
Anthony Cabro, also on Twitter, says, hashtag Joy Clean Ghana. Ghanaians' attitude to sanitation in this country is very poor. The good campaign launched by Multimedia Group is yielding positive results. Well done, Multimedia.
And new president says, Accra, the major city paradise, so disgusting. We need to change our ways. That's where we need to begin from. Hashtag Joy Clean Ghana.
Still ahead here on Newsnight.
You'll soon see projects in your constituency. Ministry of Special Development Initiatives assures residents of Odododiodio who were demanding their share of the NPP government's one constituency $1 million promise.
These are hard times. We have realized the promises are all lies. Where is the $1 million promised every constituency?
And that's coming up in our citizen-driven Joy News series called Dear Nanado. We have business now. After that, we'll get into it. How are you doing, George?
Hi, I'm doing great. And what about you?
I'm blessed.
Well, coming up in business, if you're a Vodafone customer, now it has begun actually charging customers the communication service tax. We'll be getting you details on that one. What about the other telcos? And corporate governance expert Marian Bano insists the 4 sanctioned auditing firms can be sued over their work on the collapsed banks. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office essentials. And First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you?
So everyone says I'm a Kosia filler, but it's not like I'm nosy or go out to find out the latest filler. It's just that I get 50 megabytes of data free after paying for only the first minute of every call. And so I just keep discovering stuff minute after minute. That's how come I was minding my business, scrolling through my timeline, and I found out Coco has a new baby. Oh, and last week I learned Ken won the lottery. You see, Ken is my brother's friend. So hello, look who's about to roll with the rich and famous.
Enjoy even more value with MTN Free After One. You only pay for the first minute of your call on MTN Free After One, and the rest is free. Plus, you enjoy free 50 megabytes worth of data to browse your favorite sites. Compare where, compare there. So dial *315# to sign up. We day for you everywhere you go. Terms and conditions apply.
Kingdom Books this year back to school promotion is in conjunction with Citidia Supermarket. Buy school items worth 100 Ghana cedis from Kingdom Books and get 12% discount voucher to purchase from Citidia and vice versa. School items include textbooks, pens, pencils, erasers, exercise books across all Kingdom Books branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Takoradi, and Cape Coast. Kingdom Books, where quality and affordability is assured. For further information, call 0302-764209 or 0302-746101 and 0501-401050. Terms and conditions apply.
Imagine living in a world of comfort and luxury. In a well-planned and gated community with access to an ultra-modern sports complex which has Olympic-sized swimming pools, football, basketball, athletics, and gym facilities. I'm talking about Eden Heights, the new destination for luxury in Ghana. Eden Heights is developed with the highest grade of finishing in our penthouses and our 1 to 4 bedroom apartments, and is located close to the beach resorts along the Atlantic Ocean, about 30 minutes drive from the airport and 5 minutes walk from the West Hills Mall. Eden Heights is the ideal location for luxury. Visit us at edenheights.com.gh or email to sales@edenheights.com.gh or call us on 050-153-1444 or 050-153-1445 for more information. Eden Heights, welcome home.
Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, Vodafone customers will from this month start paying their revised communication service tax. This was after the telecom operator notified its customers that it will start applying the levy. Well, the following Business Desk report has more on how it will be applied and why you should be concerned about this.
Vodafone, in the notice to its customers, argued that the levy took effect as soon as the president gave his assent to it on 19 August 2019. This should mean that the tax paid by consumers for the use of communication-related services offered by the telco has gone up from 6 to 9%. Vodafone in the notice also said this would impact customers' invoicing going forward. However, the charge would start from the assent date. Following this communication, Vodafone might be the first out of the 4 telecom operators in the country to start applying the levy. It's however not clear for now how it would affect voice calls and data usage. Based on the Ghana Revenue Authority's letter, the operators were supposed to start charging the tax immediately. But if this is supposed to take off from September 4, 2019 as directed by the GRA, why are the other players not applying? Well, analysts say maybe it's due to the fact that they have not finished the necessary calibrations of their systems, or they would absorb the tax till systems are ready, or maybe charge from when the systems are ready and claw back the communication service tax from the date of assent. Some have argued that the levy could be applied in a way that if you buy 1 cedi's worth of credit, 9 pesos would be taken away as communication service tax, while the remaining 91 would be true value realized. Government is hoping to get about 524 million cedis by December this year from the CST, going up by a little over 100 million due to the increase to 9%.
And that was a Business Desk report. Now, a corporate governance expert and lawyer, Marian Bano, has maintained that the sanctioned audit firms can be sued by shareholders and customers. The 4 audit firms were earlier this month sanctioned by the Institute of Chartered Accountants with a total fine of 2.2 million Ghana cedis. Now, this was due to the Institute describing them as breaching auditing practices. There have been arguments whether these firms can be legally taken on. Well, for Marian Bano, he tells Joy Business these calls are well pleased. She spoke to Joy Business at our Joy Business Financial Services Forum in Accra yesterday.
If an institution is insolvent and auditors qualify it as a going concern, it could be a problem because then that assurance is not being given to the shareholders to enable them make the necessary decisions that they have to make. And I want to believe that shareholders should be able to take action against the auditors.
To ensure that they are accountable even to shareholders, even to depositors of these banks?
Exactly. Because somehow they've been led astray. Because especially if you are an auditor and you've been there for the last 3-4 years, and I don't buy the argument that because directors are responsible for their accounts and auditors only comment or express an opinion, they can walk away.
Marian Bano is a corporate governance expert and a lawyer speaking to Joy Business at the Financial Services Forum. The topic, financial services cleanup. What next? Now, businessman Dr. Parker Sindum has described some movement and rebranding of his brokerage firm Gold Coast as a normal business practice. Dr. Ndum recently stepped down as board chair of Gold Coast brokerage firm, which has been rebranded as Tick Tree. According to Dr. Ndum on a Facebook post, he said all sorts of meanings have been read into this move, which he describes as unfortunate. He argues that these irritations are normal in business and is done when the need arises. Now, economist Professor Peter Cote has noted the planned increase in transport fares will come with some shocks for the economy. Transport operators have announced a 10% hike in fares for all categories of transport from Monday, September 16th. But the prices of goods and services being fairly stable. But those actually increase come with some shocks affecting people. Professor Korte has been arguing that we should be worried about its impact on inflation and the cost of living.
Yes, it is expected, and therefore people would adjust to this. But it won't come easy. It will come with some difficulty. From the statement from the drivers' union, it will be significant, but then also coming at a time where wages and salaries have not been adjusted significantly. So people will still feel the pain, I believe. It's something that is expected.
Well, for me as a consumer, what should I be doing?
Well, I think as a consumer, we need to make effective use of our money. So if you don't really have to use your own means of transport, or you don't have to travel to certain places, some of the things you can do over the phone, then it's better to do so. If you feel that the cost is too much for you, perhaps instead of going by Uber, you can adjust and take Trotro.
Professor Peter Korte is an economist. Let's turn our attention to the stock market. If you hold CalBank shares, it was down by a peso to close at 90 pesos. MTN was up by 2 pesos and is now worth 70 pesos. Standard Chartered Bank shares is now worth 17 Ghana cedis, 88 pesos, after a marginal reduction in its price. And that's all for Business on Newsnight.
George, so you're looking forward to start paying the
CST, the communication service. Yeah, interesting. I mean, we are waiting for the other operators. Vodafone has taken the lead.
It's going to affect data, right?
It has an impact on data. The good thing for this one is that, it was supposed to come with television stations and radio stations also complying with the tax. What do we understand now? For now, that bit has been put on hold. So for Joy FM like us, we won't be paying the tax with respect to if you are a radio station or a TV station. But for the telcos, it's supposed to start. They're supposed to start. But it looks like some of them are working still on their systems. But Vodafone appears to have taken...
But this will vary from
one network to another, as in how it will be applied. It won't be a flood, because maybe for them, what would a 1 Ghana cedi credit bring to you? Typically, if you take a 1 Ghana cedi credit, if you work out the taxes, about 9 pesos will go away to communication service tax. So the 91 pesos will be the real value you'll be getting.
Okay. Joe, thank you very much. You're still listening to Newsnight here on Joy 99.7 FM. Send me a WhatsApp, 0244 340 437. On the stories we looked at so far. This has no name. It says, "Hi, Joy News. I think good actions on this unfortunate assemblyman gonna deter other hard citizens. Join Clean Ghana." Well, that's a Joy Clean Ghana. That's the hashtag we're using for this. This one says, "I don't understand. The assemblyman should be sacked from the assembly." Elvis is saying. Another one says, "I don't understand this corruption ball game between these two parties. Whoever has any wind of corruption anywhere, whether cleared by the president or not, can report to the SP, not senior prefect. It's a special prosecutor. Why not use the office of the special prosecutor and stop this noise?" That's in reference to the story brought to you on Top Story. Also, this one from Benedict says, "Evans, I believe Joy FM journalists need more protection than the president." That's your view there. Final one from Christy from Ayukuma. "Joy, the whole country is behind you. Keep it up. Please notice the toilet septic tanks diverted to drains also." Well, as we keep going, we'll notice things. When we do, we'll bring it to your attention.
Now, in the lead up to the 2016 elections, the New Patriotic Party promised to provide each of the 275 constituencies of Ghana $1 million to help speed up their development. The government of Ghana has already launched the project, but in Odododiodio, residents say that money has taken too long to reach them and they desperately needed to fix dilapidated school structures there. Jojo Kobina has the details in this week's edition of the Joy News citizen-driven series, Dear Nanado. We'll hear from government after this.
Jamestown is in the Ododiodio constituency in the Greater Accra region. The tide here rises just like the expectations of the people. On the minds of the fisher folk here is this promise from the president.
Every constituency from next year onwards is going to get the equivalent of $1 million.
These are hard times. We have realized the promises are all lies. Where is the $1 million promised every constituency?
Through the Coastal Development Authority, the constituency is supposed to benefit from developmental projects worth $1 million yearly. This is the third year since the MPP came to power, and residents are yearning for 1 million one constituency projects.
One constituency, $1 million.
We are yet to see any significant project under the $1 million one constituency program. Here in Ododo Diodio, if you deliver on your promises, we will commend you. But if you fail, we will conclude that you have deceived us. I have faith that the money will be used for development. But unfortunately, we have not seen any projects. Authorities can say they have built schools, but the evidence should be there for all to see. Politicians always promise us, but they fail to deliver.
200. She chabele a share 200. Fibona bomb money in the ending zero.
After 4 years, it is only their families who benefit and live comfortably. To top it all, they are given entitlements such as houses, enough money to live in comfortably.
I may benefit, I mean nothing. She me money vote and nothing. I was there come baba.
And even for their dogs, voters like us don't have the luxury of these things. I am not even given a dime.
Nyaku Mashal did school for fishing during his childhood. He said if he could go back into time, he would rather go to school. Observing children fishing and shunning school saddens him. Mashal identifies education as the biggest priority for his constituency. He wants government to fix poor school infrastructure in his constituency.
I don't have any formal education. My son's level of education is also very low. How can he get a good paying job to support me? I therefore want them to invest this money heavily in education in this community.
Many public schools in Ododo Diodio are not in good shape. A typical example is the Ayalolo cluster of schools. Accra Sempe was established in 1826, one of 4 schools built by the colonial British government. Over the years, the school had not received a befitting infrastructure. But in 2005, construction of a new school complex started, but stalled in January 2017. The School Management Committee Chairman, George Ayi, is worried about the stalling of the projects and wants government to invest part of the $1 million to finish the school.
And we are grappling with basic. We are grappling with it. I mean, what do you expect of people of this community? And we were the leaders. At independence, we were the leaders. Is it deliberate or accidental?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, development of human capital is key. We can't talk about development without looking at the human beings. And so we can start off by looking at the human capital development, and that is education.
Children are also unhappy and want government to intervene.
Nana, come please, we need your help. We are suffering in this school. Like the way learning is not comfortable, so please, we need your help. Yeah, we are suffering in this school. Sometimes learning is not comfortable because the way the rains fall in, it leaks into our classroom, and when the wind blows to it, enter into our classroom, and when the sun also shines, it makes us feel. So sometimes we have to stand up from where we are sitting and come to another place to sit there.
Residents of Ododo-Diodio constituency want government to engage them on how the Coastal Development Authority plans to use the $1 million.
We don't know if the $1 million has been disbursed. In fact, we have not been engaged on anything concerning it. We live in Accra, the capital city, but we lack basic social amenities, especially in this constituency.
They have what we are, especially school. They have what we are.
President Akufo-Addo, I pray that God will give you wisdom to fulfill all the promises you have made.
About 2017,
2018, and now 2019.
2019, we were about
Well, there has been a response from government on the back of this. The one constituency $1 million project is to be implemented, as we know, under government's Infrastructure for Poverty Eradication Program, IPEP. That program is under the supervision of the Special Initiatives Ministry. Public Relations Officer of the ministry says work is underway to provide toilets and water systems for the Ododo-Diodio constituency. He spoke to Daniel Dadzi on the Super Morning Show.
We do have some issues with some constituencies in the Greater Accra region. Chiefly among them is the inaccessibility of land. Usually we depend on the community to give us, a piece of land so that we can carry out our project there. But unfortunately, in the Greater Accra region, it does appear to me that accessibility to land is one major issue that we are grappling with. But with the water system and the toilet facility, we have spoken with the constituency, we've spoken with the district, and as I speak to you now, they have resubmitted some other project that they would want us to replace with the water that couldn't actually take place. As I speak to you now, those particular projects are going through, the procurement processes to ensure that they also benefit from some of those projects. And one of the projects that they really want us to actually use their 2018 allocated as part of the 2018 allocation is the renovation of one particular school. The name has also escaped me, but I'm very sure that I should be able to get you the name of that particular school and some other projects.
When was the request submitted to the Ministry of Special Development Initiatives? This request from the people of Ododo-Diodio.
The specific, which particular request are you?
The constituency specific projects, which was to replace the stock projects that has to be changed.
I know that it was submitted somewhere. I think I'm not very sure. It should be somewhere in March thereabouts, because the actual implementation of the project started somewhere in July 2018. Getting to the end of 2018. And if Jojo would inform you, he has been to some specific site where the project actually started. They had to abandon it because of the obvious issue, the issue that I have already mentioned to you. So it's not the case that the project didn't start. But that aside, as I speak to you now, I know that they have submitted that project. I may not be able to specifically mention the exact date that they submitted, but I believe I can get the information from my director.
But it was in March. It was in March.
The point that I'm making is that the actual project started somewhere in 2018, July.
I understand. The question I was asking was, when did they submit their request for a constituency-specific project?
For a replacement, right?
These schools, these specific schools you are mentioning, and you are telling me that they submitted in March.
Well, as I rightly stated, I'm saying somewhere in March. I cannot be specific.
That's fine. That's fine. The month of March works for me. So today is the 11th of September 2019. From March to September, what has happened?
As I rightly indicated, Daniel, after submitting a project, you and I know very well that it has to go through a number of processes. The procurement process, you have to start everything again. This morning, as I indicated to you, I've spoken with my director, PPBME, and he has indicated to me that they have submitted that particular project, and that very soon the people of Ododo Bio would also have the allocation of the 2018 allocation.
And that's Kabori Awudumoro. He's a public relations officer of the Special Development Initiative. So listen to Newsnight on Joy 99.7 FM. A few of your messages on our WhatsApp console.
Kofi Seidu says the lawlessness under this regime has reached its crescendo. If not, how can an assemblyman assault a journalist who is going on about doing his legitimate job? This assemblyman should face the full weight of justice to serve as deterrent to such criminals, he says. And there's more on this is on Twitter, by the way, using the hashtag Joy Clean Ghana campaign. Kudos for the war on the Joy Clean Ghana campaign. Keep up the good works. And this one is on WhatsApp from Niai in Zongoland. It says, if this guy called Zola doesn't get a jail term and heavy fine, then I can boldly say that others will be emboldened to do the same thing. Violence is the order of the day in Ododo constituency. And Niai signed that one. Chief in Palladium says Zola has really brought shame to his electoral area. A member... Okay, that's
you know Palladium?
Yes, I know Palladium. There's some rice there. Yeah.
I mean, Ochenebaya on Twitter says, gradually, our negative attitude and thinking is killing our sanitation system. How come an elected assembly member will distract the multimedia team? Hashtag Joy Clean Ghana campaign. We must change our attitude, he adds.
And Peter in Accra says, I hope the MP of the area will not intervene when the assemblyman is charged and sued in court. And we'll take the final one from Daniel Addo. He says, hello, Joy News. Please, if the people in Ododo don't want you, please come to my area, Ablekuman, Abiasi. Okay. You never know. We'll be there.
Yeah, let's do some sports now. Hans.
Evans Mensah. The Premier League returns this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, your boys did well on the international stage, especially Daniel James. You saw his goal?
Daniel James is still the best player for us since the season started, so I'm not surprised.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, please.
You're still winning the league?
Oh, no, I retired from supporting football for a while now. I mean, I'm now a passive spectator.
Well, these days I support the Black Meteors. Now, former Ghana international Yusuf Chipsa is confident the Black Meteors will qualify for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games after failing to qualify for the last 3 editions. The Black Meteors put up an improved performance to beat the Algerian counterpart 1-0 after a draw performance here in Accra in the first leg last Friday. Chipsa, however, bemoaned the lack of belief in the team and is calling on Ghanaians to draw lessons from the exploits of the Black Meteors.
The belief that we had in the team was not that good. As fans, we should be able to cheer the team up even in bad times. It wasn't yet all over, but we gave up as Ghanaians just because we felt that the team didn't perform well. They weren't up to the task in the home game. But in football, it's a whole lot of things. It's not over until it's over. And congrats and kudos to the technical team headed by Zion Tanko and the boys headed by Yarewa, who got the goal, the only win of the game, to make sure we represent in Egypt for the last qualifiers. I think we should learn a lesson from this as it goes on. We should cheer up the team until it's over. We gave up too early, but the guys have done really, really well, and I was very much happy to hear the coach showering all the praises to the boys. I mean, we need to commend them. They've done really well.
So, Yusuf Chipsade, you cheer up your team until the game is over. It appears Evans Mensah has given up on Manchester United a bit.
No. I haven't given up on Manchester United.
But you just said you've retired from supporting Manchester United.
No, I didn't say that. Okay. I said I have retired from active football support.
Okay, that includes Manchester United.
I said I'm a passive spectator.
Okay. So you don't support Manchester United?
I support
these days?
Manchester United, not actively. I'm a passive. I'm not. I'm neutral. I'm indifferent is the word I guess I'm looking for.
Then you're not supporting the team. You can't be indifferent.
I'm just indifferent. Oh. I watch for the fun, not because of the passion.
That's your sport.
You're still listening to Newsnight on Joy 99.7 FM. Let's do some fact checking now.
And today we focus on claims made by the General Secretary of the opposition NDC at the press conference they held yesterday. Raymond Nako has more on the claims and the verdicts in this report.
Let's start with a claim that per the FTI report, delays on the part of government gave PDS a convenient excuse to apply for the all-important precondition of payment security to be sidestepped and restructured.
Government delayed certain actions And because of the delay, the PDS used the delay as an excuse to now apply for certain conditions to be changed.
This is mostly true. Indeed, it is true that page 20 of the report cites 3 main reasons why PDS could not secure the demand guarantees or letters of credit as per the requirements of the LAA and the BSA from a bank. The first is to do with the delay in agreeing on the list of power purchasing agreements made, which is largely government's responsibility. Again, the PRC's delay in approving the rate setting guidelines and the initial rates that PDS was authorized to charge. One can argue that PRC is part of the governance structure. The third reason is largely within the remit of PDS itself, that not having a certain level of capital required for the issuance of a cash-backed payment security. He also claimed President Akufo-Addo is the most corrupt in the history of Ghana. This is false. This is contradicted by the credible Transparency International's Corruption Perception Index. Indeed, Ghana's lowest score was 33 points in 1999. Ghana averaged 38.86 points from 1998 until 2018, reaching an all-time high of 48 points in 2014. Under President Akufo-Addo, Ghana scored 41 out of the 100 on the 2018 Corruption Perception Index. Corruption Index had a slight improvement from that of 2017, which was 40. But of course, none of these comes close to the 1999 score.
And that's a fact-checking today with Raymond Akwa. And as you know by now, the Civil and Local Government Staff Association, CLOGSAG, has given government and Senate a 2-week ultimatum to rectify second-tier pension contributions anomalies or phase your wrath. They are threatening industrial action. That's on the bad news side, but there's some good news tonight.
Of course.
For the Employment Minister.
The NLC meeting just ended a while ago, and NAGRAT has agreed to call off that strike they embarked upon yesterday. We have details in our subsequent bulletins. Also on myjoyonline.com, you can read more on that.
That's it for News Night tonight. My name is Evans Mensah.
I am MFR Powen. Strong and Sassy coming up next with Naa Shoko, and we're talking about the silence behind sexual abuse.